Oh, well, the wife said that I should work on this, so this is going to be, I guess, a little impromptu um, build stream. Hey, why not? Let's give it a try. I don't know how far I'm going to get. I at least want to prep the parts, cut that ungodly wire down and get that set. I don't know if I'm going to put anything in the printer tonight, but I'll monkey around with this for a little bit and we'll go from there. Um, Plus, I want to try out his different camera views and see if all this stuff works because, again, clearly I don't know what I'm doing, as y'all can tell. Let's see here. And then, if you're wondering, in the background, is that a camper door? Yes, that is a camper door. The person who used to own this property before me, this used to not be a workshop. This used to be a wet bar. Um, and the stories I heard from the locals is the guy would get so hammered that he couldn't walk to the house, so he got a truck bed camper, butted up against the shop, and that's where he would pass out because he couldn't walk the 200 feet to the house. That's the story I've heard, at least. But yes, that's a camper door. That hopefully one day I can rip out and extend the workshop out and not have a camper in the back of my shop because it's ridiculous. Yeah. All right, let's see if I can make this work right. No, of course not. Why would it? Go me. I just had it working too. Yay. Always got to have difficulties right off the bat, don't we? Oh, man. Gotta love that. So, I don't have any fancy standby music or any background music or anything of that matter, so sorry for the lack of fun sounds. But, yep, that's just how it is here. One of these days I'll mess around with finding some copyright free music, but I don't know how to do any of that, so let's see if we can get this working. No signal. Skippy, skippy. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. All right. I swear to God, this was working right before I started. This is going to really irritate me if it won't. I need Tor. I need a Tor. Usually I'm a little bit more tech savvy when it comes to this stuff, but such a great start, isn't it? Such a great start. So proud of myself. Why are you not working the way you should be working? Really don't want to do the alternative, which is put a webcam up there. Because that will be just annoying. I think this time I actually turned it off. Hero 5. You're not gonna work, are you? Why would you? Well, that bugs me. That bugs me big time. Awesome. Not the way I wanted this to start. Oh, well, that would be why. Hey, Hey, I think I fixed it. You rotten son of a bitch. All right, all right. Come on, bull. I call bull. Because you're working on the one. Why won't you work on the other? Don't make me do this the ghetto way. I really don't want to do this the ghetto way. Nope. Yep, probably gonna have to do this the Gito way. That's really unfortunate. Nope. Man, that sucks. That is really unfortunate. Kinda makes me want to scream. But what are you gonna do? Other than look like a fool. Custom device default. Well, oh, I got it. Oh, how exciting. Yay. It's working. All right, cool. It's only 7 minutes in and finally we can get this going. Okay. I kind of accidentally showed the video. I don't know how much trouble I'm going to get into that, but it wasn't on for very long. I got the video up as just kind of a guide because they don't have a written guide. No written guide whatsoever. Just a video guide. So, yeah, I'm going to have to play the video to keep up. I mean, for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is the old Y carriage. Take the bearing out. Put it in the new. I don't think it matters what side, but just in case. Where's the left? Here's Mr. Left. Oh, oh man. That's that's a tight fit, that's for sure. That is an awfully tight fit. Now they say you reuse the screws from the original carriage. Now what's interesting is that the screws that they put in the new parts that they sent out, at least on the tool head, match closer to the screws that are originally on the carriages. However, I'm already noticing here that these aren't really, oh God. They're kind of over the bearing. They're more so over, the bearing edge is kind of tapered. The screw head is more so on the taper. It's not overlapped on the bearing like it is on the tool head, so hopefully that keeps it in place. God, it's again unfortunate. The head of they look to be about the same size, so I don't think their screws would have done any better. Everything seems to work all right. The big thing is that bearing gonna hold tight? God, I hope so, because yeah, it's not pushing out. All right, well, there's one down. Now, if you look on the original, you can see that the screw definitely overlaps the top of the bearing. whereas on the Bondtech one, it most definitely does not. It's on the side of it, so it should retain it, but don't like that. Really don't like that. Also not a fan of how you have to remove these. I'm used to working on, yeah. I'm used to working on like side by sides and stuff like that where, well, you're gentle with bearings, especially when they're sealed. You don't want to mess up that rubber seal, that dust cover, but it's not really a good. Wonder what their video says. Well, they say to use the rod. All right, so fuck, passed on my crap. Hey, that worked a lot better. Probably should have watched that part of the video, huh? No, why the hell did I just do that? Good lord. Old parts. See if this one's any better. I hope so. I hope so. Nope, it's the same. It's right on the edge. No, someone had commented in my original video on how the rails that came with their kit, they thought were bent, or maybe they confirmed that they were bent. So these are the new rails for the tool head carriage, or the X carriage that come with the kit. The original ones are much larger. They're 10s. I believe these are 10s. These are 8s. He said that he had ran his through the tool head and one was jamming up. Mine seemed to be all right in both directions, both bearings. So I got lucky there. My rods are fine. I got nice straight hard rods. All right. Let's go ahead and put the hot end together. Now this is the part that did not go well last time, because that's how I found out that they were, oh, good lordy, a little bit of molten goo. That's how I found out that the inserts were all sorts of fudged up. Because when I went to go set this flat, set your heat sink flat up into there, it wasn't very flat, and then that's when I noticed the damn heat cert was half out. And there's no tightening a heat cert if it's already been pulled out or not set. I mean, I could have tried to reset it, but no, I'm not going to. Sorry, I'm looking at this camera. I should be looking at that one. No, I'm not going to reset them. The kit should be ready to go, as it is in the video. I should be able to just put my parts in, put the screws in, and be good to go. What I got was not ready. Was not at all ready. It was a shit show. So I wasn't very thrilled with that. Now, one thing that I don't remember is orientation of the wires. So those are pointed backwards. Now this is actually not the stock Creality hot end. This is the Micro Swiss. I have the Micro Swiss in my Max, and then I have the Triangle Lab ones in my. I've got two standard K1s. I've got these in my K1s, and then the Micro Swiss in the Max. These I got from TH3D. I believe he's got them on sale right now, or did. He had them in stock. I don't know. I got two. I got them from there. So if you want one, I will say that right off the bat, I did notice a giant increase in print quality. Not that the stock hot end is necessarily terrible on the K1s and the K1 Maxes, but they're not the greatest. But we did notice a big difference. I don't know how well detail is gonna show on this. So we printed this on one of our K1s. This is, goodness, what filament was that? In fact, I can see it right here. It was the Polymaker Polylite PLA. This one, what color was this? This is the Starlight Twilight. Polymaker. We run a lot of Polymaker. We run a lot of TH3D's in-house filament. And then there's a couple other randos I use every once in a while. If we're in a pinch, we'll use the Inland because we're lucky enough to have a micro center. It's 2.5 hours away, but two of my daughters, they live down near that way. So when I'm down there getting them for the weekend, holidays, whatever, we usually sneak a trip to Micro Center. So Inland stuff's okay. I prefer the Polymaker, and I prefer TH3D's in-house stuff. Tends to print the best for us. But yeah, so anyway, that Dragon, this was printed with no supports and with the Triangle Labs, and it doesn't, I don't know if detail will come any better on the other camera, but this really shocked me. I was very surprised at how well this came out. And I am pretty confident in saying that it would not have come out this nice with the stock hot end. We were able to, some of our prints, we were able to get by with them because they weren't the highest detail. But we really wanted to get into some unique stuff like that, and there was no way we would have been able to do it with the stock hot end. And even the same thing with the stock extruder, it's not that bad. They did have some hiccups with when the K1s first came out. I had one that was bad and one that was fine. One that was the updated one out of the box, and one that was the outdated, or the original one that had issues. And yes, Creality is notoriously bad for their customer support, but I will say they did a really great job. I contacted them through their website, through actually their little online chat bubble there off to the side. They responded. I wasn't hopeful because they wouldn't give me any sort of like case number. They didn't email me anything. It was just basically, hey, try back in a week and see if you get tracking information. Well, I didn't have to, because in less than a week, I actually had a new extruder in my hand. They had mailed it to me. I didn't get any sort of email confirmation or anything. In fact, I didn't even get any sort of like return label to send the old one back. It was basically throw the old one out. I did keep the old one just because why not? I think that was the same. I don't think they sent me a stepper motor. They sent me just the extruder, if I remember correctly. But yeah, surprisingly, they were quick about it. Less than a week, and I got a replacement extruder. The K1 Max, that one had already had the updated, known, well-working extruder. Never had an issue with that. Again, simply my reason for updating this was I kind of got suckered into the marketing of, hey, this will make your printer better, and I like to tinker, so why not? I can't tell you how many iterations my Ender 5 went through before, or my Ender 5 Plus went through before uh, it stayed at its current form, which is the Ender 5 Plus with the Mercury 1 upgrade. That is by far the best thing you can do to that printer. World of difference as far as print quality goes. Um, it's a fun kit to put together. Again, I like to tinker. I like to mess around with things. That's why I enjoy Clipper over Marlin. Not that I think one is better than the other. It really just depends on what you're doing, your use case, and if you like to mess with your printers as far as changing things out, upgrading them. If you really just want to plug and go, yeah, Marlin's fine. Me personally, I don't like Marlin because the process you have to go through to recompile the software. I am gonna break this thing. Ooh, it's warm. Um, Recompiling the firmware to get it to get it to do what you need it to do, and especially if you make a mistake, something as simple as forgetting to invert an axis. Um, you go to start the printer up, you go to home it, and all of a sudden it's homing in the wrong direction. God damn it! And you gotta go back, find the line in the code, change the code, recompile it, put it back on a SD card, reflash it, and then if you already did like a PID tune and all this, then you gotta redo the PID tune unless you save the values. So to me, Clipper is if you make a mistake, you go into the printer config, you change it, you hit save and restart, it restarts, and in 10 seconds later, you're up and running, you're ready to go. You're not having to go back to a computer. So for that aspect, yeah, it's a load easier to use. But again, it's not that one is better than the other. It just depends on what you want to do with it. I also like the workflow of Clipper, which is why I use Clipper. I like the web face, the web GUI, the web interface. I like that I can type in an IP address, boom, there's the printer right there. I like the Octo Everywhere, which I believe you can also use in Marlin, as long as you have an Octo print set up. But again, I don't know. I got real tired of Marlin real quick. But if you do like Marlin, if you do prefer to use Marlin, um, use TH3D's their version of it. He has a great compiler, very nice, easy walkthrough, and again, help support him on that. I'm trying to help him with doing some Clipper stuff that hopefully he can get going here shortly. Let's see if I can get this going again. No, of course not. Why would you? Yay. I hate this thing. I hate it. It was working just fine, and now it's not. I might just have to ixnay on this stupid thing until I can get it figured out. Because I don't know what. Well, I think what I'm finding, part of what I'm finding is that I thought when this GoPro was plugged into USB-C that it was actually charging the battery, and it doesn't appear to be doing that. Or it's still draining the battery quicker than it can charge, which is probably more likely. Yeah, that battery is dead. So that thing is like smoking hot. Yay, everybody gets to watch me do. Hey, all right. I gotta figure out how to get this thing to screw on. All right. Yay. By the way, if anybody ever does watch this, no one is at the moment, but if anyone does and they have any tips or comments on viewing angles, if the camera's too high, whatever else, let me know, because I don't know what I'm doing. And I would like to make this better for everyone involved, even if it's just two people. the one thing that makes me nervous about this hot end. I mean, really, it makes me nervous about the whole setup because of those heat inserts. I mean, the stock carriage. Where is the stock carriage? Follow me, camera. Oh, and if anybody has any better ideas for an overhead camera, right now I'm using an old GoPro Hero 5 as I had it sitting around. No, I guess the stock toolboard does use heat inserts, but this is more of a blow molded plastic versus a 3D printed plastic, so let's just hope these stay in place this time. That's something I'm a huge fan of to begin with. I am a big fan of the Rapidos. I do really like the Rapidos. I think that's a pretty fantastic tool head there. Or hot end, I'm sorry. Now, this is where I'm really going to screw myself because I just started tearing this thing apart like a meth head with an old TV and didn't bother to pay attention to what I was doing. Oh goody, my big old bald dome isn't in the view. Didn't exactly pay attention to the screws and what came out of where and what goes where. So this is going to be fun putting this together. So we'll see. Good thing I have the old Bondtech video. Yay! So I can at least use that as a reference. This is where my spoiledness comes from when it comes to like taking things apart and working on things. As I come from my family's had a small business since I was a kid. First selling scooters back when gas prices originally went bonkers, and then we got into eventually ATVs and side-by-sides and dirt bikes and boats, and so I'm used to working on things that have, you know, a microfiche, parts breakdown, exploded views. So even if I did decide to go the way of the muth head, I could at least go back to the exploded views and know how to put things back together. I really wish 3D printing companies would, or printer companies would do that. What would also be nice is if we could have those exploded views so when we needed to order replacement parts, it was much easier. But one thing that I have found out over the 22 years now in dealing with Chinese manufacturers is spare parts are an afterthought, and with some of them, it's not even a thought. They don't. I don't know if they don't care, if they don't quite grasp the concept that hey, we're Americans, and it's really, you know what, I shouldn't even say that because it's not even an American thing. It's, you know, almost everywhere else in the world, we're allowed to use the stuff that they manufacture where they can't, especially when it comes to the dirt bikes, the side-by-sides, the ATVs, and all that stuff. I mean, hell, most of that population isn't even allowed to drive. And so they don't quite understand the, well, I should say, I'm going to assume they don't quite understand given the way that they operate. They don't understand support after the fact. And that's a number one killer when it comes to the consumer and buying things, is not so much of where it's manufactured, but the fact that because of where it's manufactured from, getting parts tends to be difficult. Now over the years, I've learned to weed these companies out, and some Chinese brands have gotten better, some have gotten worse or gone out of business or changed names, because that's another thing you'll notice is all of a sudden that brand is out of business. And there's 3 more brands with that same product under 3 different names. So yeah, that's quite common as well, but they just don't seem to understand. Like old Will Smith used to say, parents just don't even seem to understand. Well, the Chinese manufacturers just don't quite seem to understand that where you get your consumer confidence is in availability of parts. They will not scare away from your product if parts are not a problem, because they know they're going to break it. They just want to know that when they do break it, they can fix it. We don't want to keep buying new. Some of us do. The real consumers, real consumerists out there like to, but I prefer to fix my stuff. I'm a big fan of fixing things. It's not so much of a green thing. I don't really care about that. It's, I don't like wasting my money. For the most part. I will regretfully spend. I think everybody does that. Nothing worse than you come home and it's almost like looking at the empty cake pan and, oh God, what have I done? It's kind of like that when you buy things. Oh Lord, what have I done? GoPro, you're pissing me off. You really are. Like, to no end are you pissing me off. Yeah, I know. Thank you, wife. I think I have to just keep pressing the button. I don't want to do that to keep it alive. It's kind of, I think, where I'm at. So I'm just going to leave it up like that for a second. Here, I think everything's getting pissed. And I'm having buffer errors too. That's awesome. So I'm going to try to go a little bit longer, and if I keep having camera issues and buffering issues and all that other nonsense because my bit rate is dropping for whatever reason. The downside to living in the boonies is I have Starlink. Now, Starlink isn't terrible. It's better than my alternative, which is AT&T DSL. Yes, it does still exist. DSL does still exist. Now, if you call it DSL, especially to one of their technicians, they'll lose their shit because in their eyes, it's not DSL. What the hell do they call it? Oh God. It's whatever they call their fiber to the node or fiber to the house service. Jesus Christ, I can't remember what it's called. Uverse. They say no, it's not DSL. It's different. It's a different technology. It's not. It's Uverse now. You can call it whatever the hell you want. It's still fucking DSL because it's still slow as shit. It's advertised as, I think it's 25 down and like 5 up at best. On a good day, I was getting 10 down and under 1 up. Yeah, that's DSL. Sorry, bro. You can call it whatever you want. That's DSL, and that shit sucks. It was terrible. And it went down all the time. And they tried blaming it on my equipment, which even if you disconnected my router, plugged directly into their modem, just a computer and a Cat5 cable to the modem, speeds weren't any better. And the technician was just like, well, I still think it's your equipment. Like, bro, I literally removed it all. And actually, the straw that broke the camel's back was when the last technician came and he unplugged all of my stuff, unplugged everything. Unplugged my routers, unplugged my security cameras, and then didn't tell me that and left. He's like, yeah, there's nothing I do. There's nothing wrong with your service, and he left. And didn't tell me that. So I didn't realize for the longest time my cameras weren't actually connected. I have Google Nest, smoke alarms and stuff like that. So none of that stuff was connected. I was so pissed. So yeah, went to Starlink, and yeah, it's okay. I get about 250 on good weather. I get 250 down. When it's overcast or crappy out, I probably get less than 100. Upload is between 10 and 20. It's not that great, but it's enough. So yeah. Yeah, I know, Krista. Thank you. It is DSL. As much as they want to call it not DSL, it's fucking DSL. In fact, technically, I think it's called ADSL or CDSL, something like that. But it's still copper to the node, or I'm sorry, fiber to the node, and then it uses twisted pair to the house. And if anybody has ever messed around with phone wire, it's very thin gauge wire. So it's not capable of handling much as far as bandwidth goes. You know, your cable companies use, what the hell is that? Copper, I think it's copper clad steel or copper. It might be full copper. It's been a while. I used to work for the cable companies, but it's a much thicker gauge copper. And even they, they would run fiber to the node, and then from there it would be hardline. I mean, the hardline copper is, some of that, depending on how long the runs were about as thick as this rod, which would run to the taps, and then from the taps you would have like your RG6. So much more capable of handling bandwidth. Yeah, and even they're starting to switch to fiber to the house. Up here, at least, they'll only do fiber to the business if they have it. Well, the charger won't even come our way, so it's Starlink or awesome DSL. Yeah, I'm so bummed this camera doesn't work. I really want it to work, but it's not going to because it's being a penis. And yes, I called the camera a penis because that's what it's being. I know the battery is low. I just want you to work. I just want to do this and feel special and loved and wanted by complete and perfect strangers. Yeah, it's not going to work. So, well, I think I'm going to prep these parts and get this camera situation figured out. And then once I figure out either how to make the GoPro not be such a piece of shit, or I'm going to have to just slap a webcam up there, and then do the actual install of the parts next week. So, sorry for anyone who wasted 38 minutes watching this and kept watching my cameras go out and then listening to me blabber, but yes, Krista the baby is absolutely adorable. Little Miss Olivia is just the cutest little thing. And I'm a sucker for babies. I'm a baby dad. I got 3 girls. So I'm just a mush. I'm an asshole with everybody else, but I'm a mush and a sucker for my kids. And of course, nothing worse than being a white balding male who's overweight, who sees a kid and who sees a little baby and gets all mushy. I have to remind myself, hey, you come off as a weirdo. I have to approach people like it's a dog. Like, hey, can I say hi to your baby? But once I get to talking to people, they realize I'm not a total creep, just a weirdo. But yeah, Krista, congrats. Thank you for coming on and watching my boringness. Tell Tim I said hi, and hopefully he can stop crying for long enough to hear you say that to him. I told you, buddy, girls were gonna mush you up. That's what they do, but they're awesome. although I have no basis for comparison. I mean, I have my stepson, but he came in, I came into his life. He came into my life a little later, and once he was older. I mean, I've known him since he was born, but wasn't there in his life as at this capacity until he was older. But yeah, I see other people's little boys, and I can't handle that energy. I can handle little girl energy. They're mellow. Now, once they get into their teens, that's a completely different thing that I'm having a hard time handling. I have one, my oldest is 15, and I love her to death, but she knows she can be hard, but she's awesome. So, let me see. He's all mushy mode. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I'm happy for you too. I really am. I'm really, really excited and happy for you guys. I can't wait to make a trip down to Indiana and see her. Um, man, I wish I could get this camera to work. I really don't want to stop working on this, but it's just, yeah, no, it's just being a bag of doog. I don't even know how I made it work the last time. I like have to sit here and just unplug and plug and jiggle the handle and pray to a deity and all sorts of other fun stuff. That's what I don't even. No, not photo mode, not burst mode, not time lapse. Video. That would be very helpful if you would go into video mode like you're supposed to. Please. Please do me a solid. It's not going to happen. Boo. Well, thank you, Tor, for helping me set up the Stream Deck, by the way, and figuring out the buttons, and helping me through my panic with OBS and getting the screen figured out. You sent me photos of Mushy Tim. All right, let me check. Now I'm just having fun being on here, talking to myself and a couple others that are hanging out with me. All right, let me see these. Oh. Thank God she looks like you, Krista. You did good. You brewed you an adorable baby. Fatherhood looks good on you, Tim. It does. I'm very happy for you guys. You know I'm gonna get all mushy because I see a baby. I see Happy Tim. I need the damn SVO8 enclosure so I can print my helmet. Yeah, when are you gonna? Oh no, that's the end of the month, isn't it? When that's supposed to come in. You know what? Screw it. Let me pick pieces. Here we go. I don't know if it comes across. I've got shit everywhere. I have 1, 2, 3 more printers that need to be fixed. Nope, 4. That one's got to get retuned. The K1s are working great. The Voron. Oh, that fucking Voron. I have a love-hate relationship for that stupid thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how sold I am on Voron anymore. Because don't get me wrong, they're nice. They're nice printers. They're really fun to build. Camera, hey, eyes on the prize. Thank you. They're fun to build, but god damn, are they a pain in the ass to tune, to stay tuned, and I'm so tired of hearing something. Well, yeah, I just built it once and it works fine for me. Yeah, well, for every one of you, there's like 20 of me who have issues. So it's not a perfect printer. It's not flawless. It can be a pain in the ass, and really probably my biggest. What? What do you mean 2 more printers on the way? Yeah, see, Tor, I wish I you know, hindsight's a real bitch. I really wish in the end I would have gone with the Trident. I looked at the 2.4 and I liked the fact that all four corners of the gantry were independent. But where I thought that was a plus, no, that makes it a massive pain in the ass, because you have that very heavy gantry that as soon as those motors turn off, it sags, and it sags unevenly. So the very first thing you have to do with every single print is you have to, what is the quad gantry leveling. And for me, I have to get that printer enclosure all good and roasty toasty, because if I don't have it nice and roasty toasty, it just will not work. It will not level. It'll fight me, or it'll error out. And yeah, so I've tried everything under the sun. I've had people tell me, "Oh, you got to get the titanium backer rods. That'll solve your problem." It didn't solve my problem. It didn't at all solve my problem. It helped a little bit, but it still is very touchy, to the point where I don't even like using it anymore. It sucks, because I was very excited for that printer. I stayed up several days in a row to put that stupid thing together, just for it to, and it printed great for a long time, and then it just slowly went to hell and drove me crazy. Now I gotta find this damn cord. Where are you? Where are you? Are you already plugged in? I bet you are. You are already plugged in. Nope. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I thought so. Yeah, that's definitely the wrong one. Holy shit, this thing is long. No, it's still plugged in. All right, well. All right, let's see if I can. We're going to do this on the fly. I'm excited. Oh, no, we don't want to get rid of that one. We want to get rid of this one. Nope. Awesome. God damn it. Oh, it's so annoying. I'm so mad. Yep. It's just not my day, is it? It just is not my day. That is a bummer. The screen is black on kind of purple. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that's why. Ah, there we go. There we go. I fix it. I fix it. Oh no. All right. You know what? That even looks better. Wow. I should just stick to using this one. Good Lord. All right. Back in business. Should I grab the Ender 3 NG kit from Ali? It's the Core XY conversion. Huh. I have not seen that, to be perfectly honest with you. You'll have to send me a link to that. I'd be very, very curious. I'll tell you what, I've got 1, 2, three. Yeah, I've got three. I've got three Ender 3s. I mean, we started off on a single Ender 3. And then I think the Ender 5 Plus was next. And then Micro Center was running those deals where you could get Ender 3 Pros for 99 bucks, and we snatched up two of those. Um, it's the Ender 3, especially if you can get them cheap, is nice because the Ender 3 Pros you gotta upgrade them. Like you can't. I mean, you can use them stock. There's people who use them stock, but if you want to do anything of value with them, you gotta upgrade them. But I mean, and this is actually how I met Tim. Was God, I can't even remember how I found his shop. Um, whether it was on Reddit or Discord or whatever. Um, yeah, all of my Ender 3s have his Dual Z upgrade kits, the easy ABLs, the tough extruders, the tough hot end, the multi-mount kit. They've got his easy flex plates. Um, I've got his easy Neo kits, the runout sensor, the solid bed mounts, uh, his fans. The only thing that I don't have on those, now they are on both of my Sovals, my SVO6s. I do have his easy boards, the 2.0s, but on my Ender 3s, it's a kind of a mishmash of, I got like a Manta board in one, and I don't know, the shitty little small Big Tree Tech with mini SKR3. That thing's a bag of balls. That one's got to go soon. Yeah, the stock plates. Um, yeah, I'm still running the stock plate in my 2.4, the LDO bed. It's not bad. It's a double-sided textured plate. It wasn't bad. Um, I destroyed the one side just from tuning and figuring that stupid thing out and having the nozzle drag across it and destroy it. So thank God it was two-sided, but I don't think Tim makes a plate that big for that one because I've got the 350, so I'm not sure. Or maybe I have, no, I might already have one that's sitting waiting to go in that thing. I don't know. I got shit everywhere. I got parts and I got shit everywhere. So let me get back to this. I can I can run my mouth while I'm putting this thing together. Oops. Now I'm distracted. Oh yeah, we gotta figure out. I don't have any screws that are longer. Let's see what they gave me in this. Oh, should probably open their parts bags out. Oh, fudge. Do I have 4 screws? I do have 4 screws that are the same length. We are getting 355 plates for the SVO8, so I should work on the SVO. Okay, perfect. I will have to get one then once they come in, because that one on the Voron it is definitely due for a replacement. It has seen better days. The other thing, Tor, that I don't know if you've noticed yet, because I think yours is a LDO kit as well. The magnet sucks. I actually had to use um, the metal clamps, and I had to be careful because of the bed mat that's the heating mat that's on it. But what was happening was when anytime I was printing ABS, it would start to pull the mat up. So I had to use the metal clamps on there to keep the build plate from pulling itself off and then screwing my prints up. So yeah, the LDO, the magnet is not of quality, not as strong. And I'm kind of I'm at a loss here. because I don't have screws. There are no screws that will fit. Well, I shouldn't say fit. There's no screws that are long enough. All right, let's go back to the handy dandy video and see what they say to use. Hmm. 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 Goddamn ads. My magnet is fine. It's the plate I have to pretty much soak in bed cement for anything to stick. Yeah, I didn't have that problem with sticking. Included fasten the sides with the 3 included M3 8x8 low profile screws. Okay. Yeah, I see you and I have opposite problems then, because I didn't have a problem with the build plate. It's the magnet that I have a problem with. Um, like I said, I'm still running the original build plate, and I can't tell you how many ABS prints I've run on that thing, and it does just fine. I ay ay ay. Here we go. Maybe if I wasn't such a dunce and realized there's only 3 bolts that hold this on and not 4, I would have realized that. Oh, imagine that. Imagine that. Need to readjust. Oh, actually, you know what there, doofus? Oh, yeah, there we go. Now I can see it. Yeah, vote. I saw that. Um, I did see, because I think you commented a couple of days ago on the original video about how you returned your kit. I mean, I don't blame you, to be honest with you. And I had pretty much everyone telling me just return the kit, just return the kit, and I'm kind of a stubborn ass, and I really want to see this through to the end. I have very little faith in it, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't doubt that the extruder isn't nice. Um, it is nice. I don't. Now that I see the kit in hand, and don't get me wrong, the replacement parts that they sent me are loads nicer. I mean, just loads nicer. A lot better quality. Um, you really have to hold the parts up to a certain light at a certain angle to see like the print lines. Um, but it's not like the old parts where that you looked at. It didn't matter how you held it. It was like, man, this thing looks like shit. Um, they're a lot better parts, but it's just I just don't. I don't know. I don't get what they're saying. It's gonna make your, what was the wording they used? Make your printer precious. It's a goofy translation that I'm used to seeing in you know stuff from the Asian market. It's a very odd word choicing. Um, didn't expect it from the Swedes, so that was a interesting choice of words that they used, and probably not the best. I don't quite get what screws they use for the side there. Those are more of those. Yeah, see, I don't really see the screws that. Yeah, it's definitely not long enough. Yep, tighten the hot end down. Replace the 2 bottom screws with a hot end that's applied. No, no, no. Use and fasten the 2 side screws for the hot end. What in the butt are you talking about? Okay, I see now. We can pause that. But yeah, like I said, like I was rambling on, I definitely don't blame you for that. Your kit sounds like it was worse than mine as far as you had issues with the rods as well. I luckily did not. Um, everything on that aspect works. In fact, let me get these screws in and then I'll show it again. And yes, I am going to be trimming these dumbass long. I just that oddly enough irks me more than anything else is the fact that they could not be bothered to cut. And I get it to a certain point. You have one SKU. You have one SKU. You have because this your extruder is a separate part. So you're just taking the extruder from the bin and putting it in this kit. But again, it's $249 for three 3D printed parts in nylon, your rods, and some screws. It's not 249 bucks, guys. I'm sorry. It's just there's just no justification for that. Um, I mean, I see why now they didn't. Well, no, I still don't. Not for sorry, not for $249. I should get new bearings. I really should. I I should not have to reuse parts. The whole point is to upgrade the printer, and at $249, I can't imagine these bearings are that expensive to where it's going to throw your margins off on the kit that much. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I just don't see that being a profit breaker. I just don't. You know, let's start fresh. Fresh new bearings. You don't work on the front end of your vehicle and leave old wheel bearings in there. If you do, you're stupid because you're already down there. You're already tearing it apart. You're already in that zone, in that place. Why reuse a wheel bearing? Well, it's no different in this. If I'm already tearing that machine down as far as I needed to tear it down, why am I reusing wear items like a bearing? It just seems silly to me. But again, it's neither here nor there. It is what it is. They went cheap in areas that I don't understand why they went cheap. It just seems silly to me. It's silly, very silly. All right, now I gotta remember which direction this all went to. Ah, yeah, that's right, because I pulled the damn plug right off of that. All right. Yep. See, this again is where I'm old school though. I like print. I like having something physical in my hand. A lot of manufacturers, again, in the industry I work on, my normal job is marine and off-road vehicles, and the marine side is still holding out as far as printed pamphlets and stuff like that, but the off-road side, they've pretty much it's QR codes, go online, check out website, blah blah blah. I'm not that old, but I'm 38. I'm almost there. I'm almost to the point where kids can say you're old, and I'm like, yeah, you're fucking right, I am old. Um, but I still like print. I like having a catalog in my hand when I'm getting something new. I want to sit at home, and no matter where I'm at, in bed on the shitter, getting ready to take a shower, to sit there and look through that manual and get all pumped about what I'm about to buy or what I bought and I'm waiting to pick up. Um, I'm the same way with instructions. So when I got my Voron kit, the first thing I did as I was waiting for it to get sent to the house was I printed out the however hundreds of pages it was, um, to put it together. I didn't want to sit there and look at a computer screen and stop and grab the mouse and flip through and And look, I wanted shit in my hands. I wanted to be able to flip through pages and crumple the page out and throw it out when I was done to feel like I got something done, got something accomplished. But mostly I'm just old and I want shit in my hands so I can go, yeah, that seems right. I think I did it right. All right. Well, I should probably stop this because now I'm going to get all confused and lost and old manish. Right. Oh, God. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's getting bad in the back, too. God, I can't win in the hair department. I'm bald in the back and up front. Sweet baby Jesus. That's unfortunate. Yeah, what screws did you use? Oh. Now, one thing that drives me absolutely insane, and they all do it, so it's not just a Creality thing, is the hot snot that they put on all the damn plugs. You can't undo the UART connection without ripping the whole plug out. So hopefully the wire stayed in the correct orientation. Otherwise, I'm probably going to fry this toolboard out, figuring it out. Well. Oh, I am still going. All right. Well, thank you again to anyone who's made it this far, whether they're watching it after the fact or the couple that are watching it live. Thank you for dealing with my technical issues. There we go. Got the tool headboard on. Now, one thing that I am not doing is I am not putting that stupid LiDAR back on. It's stupid. It doesn't do anything. As far as I know, you have to use the Creality slicer anyway in order to use it. And when we were using the Creality slicer, when we first got these, my prints failed 100% of the time when using the LiDAR, when in enabling the LiDAR and utilizing it versus not utilizing it. So I'm not going to be putting that back on because that's extra weight on the tool head that is completely unnecessary. But I don't even know if I finished my thought about hot snot. In fact, I'm fairly certain I didn't. They put a lot of hot snot on this shit, and it makes it just so hard to service these and disconnect things to the point where, like I said, I pulled the plug right off of there when disassembling. She's looking good so far. This is something that I don't remember. I know the video will tell me, but I don't remember where the damn stepper motor plugs into. So I am going to cut these wires down. Yep, there's the adapter. You plug in where? I got it. Yep. Very good. Okay, for the hot snot. The good thing about having a little pudge, you get a built-in workbench. Look at that. It would help if I was trying to put it in right. Okay. Now, if I haven't said it enough, this is stupid. Now, I don't have the connectors to use. I believe those are the mini JSTs. I don't think that's the technical term for them, but that's what I'm going to call them. But what I do have is the JST-XH connectors. And now that I think about it, how, damn. Actually, I didn't even have to mess with focus, did I? Pretty on point. All right. Wow. But I do have the JST-XH. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this shit show down. I'm going to have some slack just in case I screw up or need to service it. But I'm not going to have 30 feet of extra wire hanging off the back of my printer, because that's just straight up nonsense. Yeah, that should be good there. Now, if anyone has ever used these bad mamma jammas, they're fun. What's even funner is trying to teach high school kids how to use those things and how to use them properly. It doesn't tend to go very well. Very careful. I don't think I have my strippers in here. I do not. There we go. I have a feeling here in the not too distant future I'm going to have to get some reading spectacles. It's getting harder for me to focus. These nightmares. Wah, wah. I hope you blow your engine up. Wah, wah. Everybody around here drives their shit box like it's a race car. And then no one can understand why their vehicles don't last them very long. Gosh, I just can't imagine. Well, it's between that and everybody hits deer, but you know. Go. By the way, Vote, if you're still here, thanks for coming back and checking in on the situation. I don't know if you had a chance to check out at least the update one, but yeah, it was very interesting, the tech support and customer support. That was a very interesting set of events. Was not expecting that from them, but you know, I don't know. I say things without thinking, even though I'm thinking of it now, but my past dealings with that areas of the world did not surprise me that it turned out that way, at least at first. I have had, and I know I'm not the only one. I know many people have shared this, but the Shelly people, anybody who knows anything about Shelly, their smart home products, man, you want to talk about getting thrown to the jackals. All of their products, much like Bondtech, um, they come with a little card, and the card has a QR code that directs you, your support. They direct you to their Facebook support page. And if you have nothing but praise for Shelly products, as if God Himself descended from the heavens and delivered these products, you are treated like complete shit. They jump on you. They tell you it's your fault the product doesn't work. You installed it wrong, even though you provide pictures having it hooked up exactly as the shitty illustrations that they show you. It's still your fault that their product failed. And if you sort through the Reddits and Discord and all that other stuff, they actually do have a pretty high rate of failure. But my issue, not only with some of their failed products, which is why I won't order directly through Shelly, I will order through Amazon, so that way, whether they like it or not, their shitty inferior product will at least have some sort of protection. Now, granted, it's 30 days, but with some of their stuff, 30 days is all you need. Go. Last one. The one thing that pretty much killed it for me was, in fact, they're still doing it, although now they list no stock. Well, actually, no, it's two things. So I wanted to have some sensors, some meters for my power, my fuse panel. And originally, because I had some Shelly, I don't remember which ones they are now. I've got a bunch of them. One of them actually controls my shop, the overhead lights here. In fact, it was Tim who gave me the idea, because that's how he's got now. I don't know if he's using Shelly products. I can't remember exactly what he's using. But the point is, I have Z-Wave door locks on both my house and my shop. And for the shop, I have it set to where when I unlock the door, lights come on. And so I have a Shelly controlling my overhead lights. The problem is that if you either have to reset, and this is my experience, I don't know if everyone has this problem, but in my experience, when I have to reset Home Assistant, like if I'm doing a major update or changing configuration, whatever, for whatever reason I need to reset it, it sometimes takes a while for Shelly to start recommunicating with Home Assistant. If I lose power, that's a whole other bag of shit. It takes forever for those things to connect back to my Wi-Fi. Now, this shop has been through two different routers, and now I'm on an access point. Same problem. Originally, it had a Netgear router. Then I went to Asus, and then I settled on Unify wireless APs. And you can't tell me that three different products, three different brands, it's the hardware. It's not. It's the Shellys. They have a really hard time reconnecting to Wi-Fi. It takes forever, and eventually they work again. So I have that. So anyway, rambling on. Okay. I wanted to monitor my power usage on on my fuse panels. Now, originally I was just going to go with checking the mains, and then I saw there's a couple other brands where you can do up to 16, and they had ESPs in them, so you could reflash them with ESP Home, and I just didn't want to do that. I just wanted something that I could plug in and it would work. Now, that was my thought process at the time. When they launched their US site, that was a disaster. Their US site said they had everything in stock. Everything was ready to ship, ready to go. Order it, ship out tomorrow. So I ordered one of their, I think it's the EW1 or EW2, whatever the hell it is, whatever the power monitor that they have. And about 3 weeks later, nothing. No product, no tracking information. Order still saying being processed. And that's when I got to experience their fantastic Eastern European based customer service. Now, the time zone change, that's not what bothered me. I just expected that. It was rough. If I was up at certain times, I knew I at least had a small window where we could do some back and forth. It wasn't that. It was the bullshit lies they gave me over and over and over and over again about how, oh, it's going to ship out tomorrow. Oh, it's going to ship out by the end of the week. Well, come to find out, they didn't have any stock of what I ordered. They had to send, they were still waiting for stock from Europe to make its way to the US at their new US. Because if I remember correctly, the warehouse stuff in Nevada, their store and shit was based in Florida or vice versa, whatever it was. It was goofy, but most of the shit wasn't in the US. It was all in Europe. And they were waiting for the stuff to get to the US, yet their US website said that everything was in stock, ready to ship, ready to go. So finally, after about 4 or 5 weeks, I said, just give me my fucking money back. And they were hemming and hawing, oh, it's going to go, it's going to go. It's like, okay, well, give me my money back or I'm doing a chargeback. Like, I'm done. So eventually I got my money back. And another thing that I had some issues with was their smoke detectors, which again was something I really wanted because I liked the idea of, wasn't, especially now, I'm not a fan of my smart devices being Wi-Fi. I'd rather be a Z-Wave so it's not cluttering up the Wi-Fi and all that nonsense. But I wanted ones that were interconnected, so no matter which one detected it, they all went off, and then I would know which one set it off. I got kids, and I have the house and my shop, so all that was important to me. But that was another thing where they didn't have stock. Now, one of the resellers did have stock, but what I started noticing was they weren't UL listed. And then I started digging into requirements. Now, the weird thing is in the US that fire alarms are not federally regulated. It varies by state, and some states it even goes as far as varying by city or county. But for the most part, they had to be UL listed. They had to be interconnected. They had to be, some of them even required that they be hooked up to like your 110 with battery backup. And they had none of that. And as far as I can tell from everything that I read and found, that those smoke detectors were not legal in the US because there was no state where they met any of the qualifications to be sold in a state, in any state. So with that said, and son of a biscuits, I think I forgot something. These look like they are important. Pretty sure they are. In fact, I know exactly, maybe I know exactly where they go. Anyway, so I got a hold of the reseller that had them in stock. I said, hey, this is what I found. I'm looking to order them, but I'm kind of nervous because I want to make sure that, it wasn't so much that some laws I just don't give a shit about. Well, a lot of laws I don't give a shit about. The big thing is that when it comes down to stuff like that, where it's important is your insurance. That's where you need to follow those rules, guidelines, and laws, because if you fuck around, you're going to find out that because you had janky ass smoke alarms and your house burnt down, you're fucked. Insurance isn't paying out shit. And so that was my thing, was I wanted to make sure that my insurance would cover me in the event of a loss due to fire, and I wanted to have the proper fire alarms. So long story short, when I pointed all that out, the reseller, I'm not going to say who it is. One, because I don't remember. I know I could look up the email very easily, but two, I don't want to put them on blast and cause any issues for them. But we did, and it was actually really cool because I wasn't a customer of this reseller, um, but I was a potential customer. But they actually took me seriously. They looked into what I was looking at, and they said, "Hey, you know what? You're right. We did some research on our own and found out you're absolutely right. These aren't legal in any state in the U.S. So yeah, we're actually going to pull them from our website and send them back." And that they did. They pulled them off their website. Um, but when I pointed that out to the CEO or whatever the ass clown is that's on their Facebook page, who says he's the CEO or owner or whatever of Shelly or whatever the division, whatever company owns Shelly, um, he was just a complete prick about it. And it's like, dude, cool, they're legal in your country. They're not legal in mine, so don't fucking sell them, because all you're doing is you're setting people up for failure. And you're setting up people for a very expensive, life-altering disaster if something happens, their house catches on fire, and they find out after the fact that the product you sold them to protect them didn't protect them, in the sense that now they're out tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, because their insurance company won't pay out on either the everything, the building, their home, or just the contents, or however they get out of it. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is fuck Shelly. I got to figure out where these little white spacers go, because I cannot remember where they go. I think they have something to do with the hot end, though. Oh, you fucking ads. I can't be mad because I'm too cheap to pay for YouTube Plus or whatever the hell it's called. Uh-huh. Hey, why would you do that? What is the point of that? Where do the fancy little plastic things go? Well, you're not going to show me, are you? You assholes. You asshole. I'm pretty sure they go in the hot end. If they don't go there, then I don't know where the fuck they go. I think they do go in there, but they go in through the top. Ah, oh, that sucks a bag of ass. I gotta take this whole thing apart now. Boo. Should have recorded myself taking this damn thing apart so I would have known where everything goes, but, Why do anything the easy way? That makes no sense. No, sir. Yeah, definitely not getting this installed in the printer tonight, because it has taken me an hour and a half just to get shit ready. Well, I guess a good portion of that I was monkeying with the cameras because I don't know what I'm doing. And actually, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to take this back apart and see how the heat sets are doing, because some of the stuff feels loose. And it's making me very, very nervous. Yep, that's exactly where they go. Alright, so if you forget and you're taking yours apart and putting it back together, these little white PTFE tube looking things. Here's your heat sink. They go back inside the heat sink. Man, I should learn how to hit pause on the video. So they go in just like that. Stay. Too good for your home. They look good. They didn't pull out, so I got that going for me. I think I'm going to do this a little differently, though. I'm going to get the heat sink all tightened in and then put the hot end in next, or put the hot end in last. I will warn, make sure you do not over tighten anything in this tool head carriage, because again, it's plastic. Well, sorry, it's nylon, 3D printed nylon, whatever type of nylon it is. Fuck off, stay put. With brass heat inserts. So you do run the risk of over tightening anything that goes into these heat inserts. Now, these side ones aren't, I mean, you're still screwing into aluminum, so you don't want to over tighten them anyway, because you run the risk of, at this point, cracking the plastic or pulling the threads out of the aluminum heatsink. But you know, especially these back here where they thread into heat inserts, you know, snug. Because if you over tighten them, you run the risk of yanking those brass inserts right out of the plastic, and then you're screwed. All right. The micro Swiss. These have interesting screws because they're, I don't know if you'll be able to see them at all, but they're collared. They actually have a collar on them. So when you go to install it, listen, asshole. Asshole amigo. You got to, just no easy way. There, I've got a touch of the T. I'm making this harder than it needs to be. Anyway, you got to you kind of have to get the bolts inside like that before you can install it in the tool head, because again, they're collared. What's nice about those is those collars bottom out on the heat sink, so you don't tighten the hot end too far and ruin it. But again, you still run that risk of yanking those heat inserts out. And the other thing you want to make sure of is that you get a nice even tightening on it, because you want those to bottom out on the heat sink, but you also want them to be even. Otherwise, your hot end will be all kittywampus, crooked. I'm gonna call that good. Let's put this stupid thing back on now. Did I fudge up? Why do I feel like I made a whoopsie? Something don't seem right. That's why, 'cause the wire's all twisted up. Oh, please don't pull out. There we go. I hear my turkeys. On top of everything else I have going on at this fine piece of land, I got me some turkeys and chickens and ducks and quail and guinea, although guinea aren't really anything to brag about. They're the most obnoxious creatures on the face of the planet. And one of these days, they're going to meet the business end of a specific caliber, small in size. They have the memory of a goldfish. Now, guineas are used as kind of like a watchdog of your flock. They will warn you and potentially scare off predators. The downside to that is they will go off on just about anything. Tree branches moving in the wind. And they have a very distinct, loud sound. And when you have 3 of them going all at the same time, it makes you want to jab screwdrivers into your ears. It's a terrifying sound. Well, I shouldn't say terrifying. It's terrifyingly loud and obnoxious, and just it's awful. Here's my boot. Now I bought extra boots when I got my Micro Swiss hot end for this, and I'll be damned if I didn't lose them. So reuse the old one I shall. Still not a fan of those wires. Let me see, where's... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm going to leave this showing the background. You guys don't need to watch me walk over to the disaster zone for a couple zip ties. The sad thing is this shop has been cleaned and organized several times. And then I get into a project and then I trash it all over again. And then I get all pissy because I can't find anything. And so I clean it again and organize it. And then I get into a new project and I trash it and I get pissy and mad because I can't find anything. It's a vicious circle, and my wife's a saint because she puts up with it. So thank you, Sarah, putting up with my nonsense and my scatterbrained because of I start 17 million projects and then I get sidetracked and I find a new project and then I forget about the project before that, and then there's like this project here. Let's see if I can get the camera to come down. This project I'm very excited to finish. It just is going to take a lot of work. This is a map for... This is... Oh God, what kind of map is this? It's I believe it's a chart. Plot map? Chart map? I don't know. It's for airplanes. For things that go bzzz in the air. So all of these circles here... I don't... Oh, come on, camera. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of circles and spots. That's where airports are now, not just your typical massive airport, but your little airports too, your little local ones, your municipal ones. Well, there's a lot of airports that report weather data, and you can pull that data live off of... I believe it's a federal website, so it's not something that's just going to go away all of a sudden. It's current. But it pulls that data, and I can set how often it updates the data. But it's the lights. There'll be an LED light for every airport on this map that reports data, and they're color coded. So you'll have, I believe it's green, blue, red, purple and white. Sectional aeronautical chart. Thank you, wife. But anyway, so the lights indicate your flight conditions. One of them is your VFR, which is visual flight rating. So pretty much anyone who has just their basic private pilot's license they can fly VFR. Your next one is IFR, which is your instrument flight rating. That one actually takes extra training, you get a different cert on your license, all that stuff. So, and then the red, I don't remember what the rest is. It's been so long since I've looked at the project. But anyway, what I plan on doing is having a whole, I want to say in total on this map, there's like over 100 or just about 100 LEDs that'll be on there. And the reason why I did it this big was, some people do something local where it might only be, 5, 6, 7 airports. Well, I wanted to do a region because I thought it would be cool to have that many lit up so you can kind of see the weather pattern just based on the type of flight rating that was required to fly into that airport, and it'd give pilots a bigger idea as far as what was going on, not just where they were headed, but most importantly, at least in our region, for the most part, they pay attention to what's happening to the west of them. But my plan originally, I wanted to make one just for the house, but our little airport here in Harrison, is supposed to be getting a new airport. We have some really good people in the county that have been fighting our crappy county elected officials to put money into the airport, because it's hard fighting people who have no idea how business runs, and everything in the end is a business. And their whole thing is they don't want to put money into the airport because the airport's not really busy and not a lot of people fly in and out of the airport. Well, the reason why people don't fly in and out of the airport is because the county refuses to invest in it. And if you ask anybody who flies in Michigan if they've ever flown in or out of 80D, which is our airport code, if they have, they have lots of colorful things to say about it. And if they haven't, they also have colorful things to say about it because of word on how shitty the runway is. Because they didn't take care of the runway, they let it get in such bad condition that now they're pissing money away patching it because that's all they can get approved, but it doesn't need to be patched. It needs to be ripped up and redone. But they're also finally agreeing to actually build an airport. And when I say airport, it's a very small building, big enough for like a pilot's lounge, hopefully at least an office or two, so they can start hopefully finding a private company to come in and do flight lessons, which will bring traffic and business into the airport. And then also with that, part of that, the new airport will be a new space for the current airport restaurant, which they have the owner of the restaurant on board for. So my plan is to get this going, get it perfectly tuned, working. I know it's going to be at least a couple years before they get that building, but eventually I want to get this up and going and reliable, and then donate it to the airport for the new airport for the pilot's lounge, so they'll have something cool to look at. And obviously they can't 100% rely on it. It's more for reference. Just from the little reading I've done when I've originally wanted to go and get my private pilot license. Unfortunately, right now I have too many health issues that I need to get straightened out before I attempt to go and get my my health card or my health certificate. That I had learned that things like this are for reference. You still want to call the airports that you're going to ahead of time to get the weather and stuff like that. So, but at least it's another tool for pilots to use as they're planning their trips. And I'm very excited to get it going and one day present it to the airport once they're ready for it. Well, I think I've just about got the tool head ready to rock and roll. There's not much else I can do with it. I got the tool head board on. And this has me going on another side tangent here. Completely has nothing to do with this Bondtech kit, but I tried using CAN bus, and oh hey 3D experiments, it's going. I've had some technical issues. I had to swap this camera out with a different one. I was using a GoPro and it just wasn't cooperating. So now I actually got one of TH3D's webcams that I normally have on one of my Solvals up there helping me out. And actually, I mean, the video seems to be better. The lighting seems to be better. So I'm probably going to keep it out there. I'm going to have to buy another one from them. But yeah, other than that, there's no way in hell this is getting on the printer tonight. I've got the tool head ready to go, and I got the Y-axis parts ready to go. But I think I'm gonna stop because now I'm gonna have to drag the printer over here, and that's gonna take a whole lot of time in itself. So that I want to have set up ahead of time instead of picking that thing up and looking like a doofus. Because I'll probably have to move this mat to my gamer's Nexus mat. I love this thing. I definitely love Tech Jesus. I like watching his videos, and he has always got really interesting stuff. And I like how he doesn't screw around. He's not afraid to go after anyone and everyone. And his current stuff with Asus is just amazing. I'm so glad to see someone go after such a big company like that, and it's not the first one he's gone after. I know he's gone after MSI before. In fact, I think this is like his second or third spiff with Asus. He does not back down with them. The stuff that he did with Newegg was fantastic, and what bummed me out about Newegg is what got me into building computers in the first place when I was 12. That's where I got my first parts from. And I had noticed as a longtime user what a shithole Newegg had turned into, and they've turned into everybody else. Amazon, Newegg, I mean hell, Walmart. They all have these marketplaces now that have all been overrun by these Chinese companies that just sell garbage or are just there to simply rip you off. Say they have this product and they don't. So, but yeah, his stuff is a little expensive, but definitely well worth it. This is a nice thick mat. It's what is it? It's a soldering and project mat. I even got his mouse. It's actually the keyboard and mouse pad, the really long one. And then I got his I think he was doing a special at the time. I got his drink glasses, his current coasters, and then his really cool copper mugs. Really nice stuff. I don't even know how that happened, where I went off on that tangent, but yeah, I think I'm going to call it. I pretty much did what I was hoping to get done, and that was get the tool head together. I can't do anything else until I'm ready to actually put it on the printer to get everything hooked up. So this is the Bondtech X carriage. I don't officially know if the letter here on the end, if you guys can see it, is a revision designator, but what I will say is that the parts that came in the original kit said C, and this one says D, so I'm just going to say this is revision D because that's all I know. But I will say the parts that they sent me are much better quality, both all three of the 3D printed parts. I'm very happy with the quality now. I still, now that everything is in my hands, the best quality that they're going to get, I still don't think it's a $249 kit as of right now. I still don't think, even if I do see some pretty major improvements in quality on the printing, which the K1 Max and the K1s don't have bad print quality. They truly are a printer, and it's surprising to say this and almost hurts a little bit because Creality is not known for having a truly plug-and-play printer. Anyone who's ever owned an Ender 3, whether they want to admit it or not, that fucking thing has taken some tinkering to get right. These K1s and K1 Maxes, even if you use their shitty BS version of Clipper and their crappy web UI and their really crappy slicer, you can still plug that thing in, run the setup process, slice something through their slicer, and print, and it will come out. And truly use it as a beginner's plug and play printer. I don't leave anything alone, so I like upgrading and tinkering and screwing with stuff, and that's why I got suckered into this kit. And so it's going to take a lot for me to be impressed by this at this point, especially given the deficit of the quality of parts that were sent to me to begin with. So it's really, I'm really going to have to see some magic for my printer to go precious, as they say. I can't remember exactly what they said, but they did use the word precious and explaining what will happen to your printer when you install this kit. I don't see anything precious happening here. That's actually the LiDAR cable. Just to reiterate, I am not reusing the LiDAR. I'm not putting it on there. I know it doesn't weigh a whole lot, but between the bracket, the goofy LiDAR module, and the wire, it's unnecessary weight on the tool head, so it is not going back on. It's completely useless, and I have had nothing but 100% failure rate anytime I try to use that LiDAR. It has not improved first layer quality. I shit you not, every time I've used it, the first layer has been awful. So yeah, there's no point in putting it back on. Plus, you have to use their slicer anyway in order to enable it, and I don't. I use Orca for those. So I know the wife uses the Creality slicer for certain things, but for the most part, I believe she's onto Orca as well. So yeah, parts are ready to be installed. The rest of the install is not going to happen until next week. I got a lot of stuff going on. Work tomorrow, leaving work early, going downstate, as us Michiganders say, going down to the Detroit area. My daughter's stepbrother, his birthday is tomorrow, and he's just a cool little dude, so we're going to go down there and celebrate his 6th, 5th. He's turning a number. That I do know. But he's a cool little dude, so we're going to go down there and celebrate his birthday and go visit with my girlies. And then Saturday, I go to my 20th high school reunion just to make me feel old and shitty about myself. And then Sunday, Sarah and I go see my cousins at the Barrington Conservation Club. Yes, 5. Thank you, wife. I knew he was turning a number. Just couldn't remember which one it was. We go to the Barrington Conservation Club, where my cousins put on CPL classes. I had my CPL like a dunce. I let mine lapse. State of Michigan, even though they're leaning to a certain side that it's not friendly to the firearms, they do give you 12 months to renew your CPL before they finally say, hey, dope, you got to retake the class. So fair enough, I let it lapse too long and I got to go retake the class. Sarah's going to take it for the first time so she can get her CPL, and then we will be legal to conceal our pew-pews. Yeah. Well, not quite yet. We got to take the class, then we got to go give the county a whole bunch of money to take our fingerprints and issue our cards and do our background checks. And then, once we get our cards, then we'll be legal to conceal our pew-pews. But that's what we're doing this weekend. That's why I can't do the rest of this over the weekend. Probably not Monday, because Mondays are rough days for me. I work by myself, and I have to deal with the general public, and I don't handle that too well. So Monday evenings I'm exhausted. So probably Tuesday, unless I'm feeling chipper. Yeah. So thank you, every one of you, every couple of you that stopped by. Thank you, 3D Experience, for dropping in real quick. Thank you, Tor, for the help and dropping in. and chatting with me for a little bit while we were on here, and the wife for sticking by, and Krista. And I know Tim didn't stop by because probably was too busy holding his new daughter and didn't want to put her down, and I don't blame him. That again, I got 3 girls. I've had 3 kids, and it's been that way with all 3 of them. Nothing beats a nice fresh new baby. Um, so congrats again to Krista and Tim on their new baby, little Miss Olivia. She's just cute as a button. Can't wait to meet her. And yeah, thanks for coming on by, and I'll see you guys next week. We'll wrap this up, getting this on there. I'm going to make sure everything's set up. The printer's here. Camera angles hopefully are a little bit better. And I'll have it set up to where once this is installed, we can run some test prints. I'll run the good old classic Benchy and maybe even Cali Dragon and see. Unfortunately, where I did make a whoopsie is I didn't do kind of a before and after as far as, doing a Benchy before I tore that damn thing apart. But whatever. I wasn't actually planning on doing any of this. I just decided, hey, screw it. I got the equipment. Let's give it a go and see if anybody gives a damn. And it also didn't help that once I tore that thing apart and then excitedly opened this box and saw all the shitty parts I had, that I definitely needed to, felt the need to go on here and do this. So, yeah. As Tim says, my Midwest goodbye. So, goodbye for the umpteenth time. I will see you guys later. Thank you for standing by and dealing with the technical issues, and see you guys next week. Thanks. I gotta make sure I end this right. Bye.